Hi everyone, it's Nicki here. Welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, I am an author and an editor, and I post here on YouTube about writing, editing, books, and just generally about the things that I enjoy. I thought I'd do this quick post today. It's the start of a new year, and just fill you in on what's happening, what I've got planned, books coming out, plus just some of my general thoughts on the year ahead. So I'm going to kick off with the writing. I actually have, let me have a look, I think it's seven releases, yes, already contracted that are coming out during 2018. The first of these, Cursed with Claws, is from Less Than 3 Press. It's a novella and there's a sort of fantasy dragon theme, bit of a fairy tale element too. That comes out on the 28th of February and is already available for pre-order on Less Than 3 Press's site. So do check that out. And let me know what you think if you read it. Next up, also from Less Than 3 Press, Toils and Tricks. Now this is a story that's going to come out as part of an anthology. It's a short story. The whole anthology is based around the idea of tricksters. So my story features Norse gods and Loki, but with a bit of a twist. That one comes out on the 28th of March. So at the moment anyway, as long as that doesn't change, it is available for pre-order on the site as well. And it's called Fall For You is the anthology title. Moving on to works coming out from 9 Star Press. I have a short story, Full Marks, which some of you may have seen around because it was previously released by another publisher, although I have done a little bit of work to it since then. It's coming out in an anthology from 9 Star Press. It was going to be February, but I believe there's been a bit of a date shift there, so I will let you know the details on social media as soon as I get them on when that's going to be out. But I do have dates for 2 other works that are coming from 9 Star Press, Souls for Sale and Beastly Businessman and Guitar Gods. Now these are 2 works that I previously had published with another publisher. That publisher closed and 9 Star Press have taken them on. I've done a little bit of changing to Souls for Sale. It was originally a short story and a novella, but in reissuing it now with 9 Star, I've rewritten it to just make it one single story. So that one is coming out on the 19th of March. And then Beastly Businessman and Guitar Gods, for those who didn't see it when it came out before, is a collection of 6 interwoven short stories, all based on fairy tales and myths, but set within a contemporary non-magic world. And that one will be coming out on the 16th of July. So I will have plenty more news on all of those releases as we get closer. In addition to that, I have A Handmaid's Purpose, which is a short story I've written that's going to come out part of an anthology from Fantasia Divinity magazine. I don't have a date on that one yet, but it's a Norse mythology inspired story, so I will tell you more as we hear more about that one. And finally, my biggest release for the year is Super For You, Bad For Me. This is a fantasy novel that's coming out from Dreamspinner Press. It's a superhero theme. I don't want to give too much away. There's a lot of humour. There's plenty of action and adventure and romance, if I can speak, but plenty of humour too. And I'm really looking forward to releasing that one. It'll be my first single story, real novel length piece. So for LGBT fiction anyway. So I'm really excited about that, especially because 9 Star are including it in a sort of major promo push they're doing, trying to get more mainstream audience for some of these LGBT works, which is awesome. So I'm going to have loads and loads to tell you about that as we get closer. The edits are finished, the cover's done, everything's perfect. It's coming out on the 14th of August. The long lead time is because of this extra public promotion that they're doing for it. So it's a little bit of a wait, but it is coming and I can't wait to share it with you. In terms of what I'm working on at the moment, I have a new novel, another paranormal novel that I did a first draft of in 2017. So I am looking to get back into that soon. I did start in the last few months a novella, which I already had the idea floating around in my head, but then I saw a call come up for which it would fit, and the call ends at the end of April. So I did start it earlier than I'd planned. And I did a draft of about the first third while I was away, and I'll tell you about why I was away in a minute. But I still need to finish that. However, I've had a little bit of a writing slump at the moment. I'm kind of feeling a bit stuck. When I think about going and sitting down and working on it, I just find I don't have the enthusiasm. And I just wonder, I don't think I'm really fully connected with the story yet, and I think maybe that's because I pushed too early. Like I had the initial idea, but I hadn't let it germinate enough, and I rushed ahead with it because of this call, and I think maybe it wasn't quite ready to be worked on yet. And I'm still in two minds yet. I'd welcome any opinions from other writers out there. I don't know whether to push on with it for this call or whether to step back, put it aside, and if it doesn't make this call, it's going to be a novella-length piece. I'll be able to submit it just on its own anyway when it's done. I'm tempted just to go back to that novel, which I was very much into before I went travelling, and I think maybe that'll give me a bit of a spark to get going again. But we'll see. It just feels like I'm pushing and it's not coming naturally at the moment, so I want to try and get over that, get back into writing again, and maybe I can still pick this other one up for the call. Perhaps if I just do a bit of work on the novel first, it'll get me back in the right mind frame, but we'll see. This other short story is also sort of paranormal / fantasy with a bit of folklore thrown in. I think it could work quite well, but I think maybe I'm just not quite at the right point to go forward with it yet. So those are my writing plans. Let me just jump out and then I'll come back and tell you a little bit about just my general plans for 2018. So I'm back again, and I just needed a drink of water, which is why I paused the video and picked up again. But just to give you a bit of an overview, I was a little bit cagey about what was happening at the end of last year, and that's because I was actually going travelling for 2 months and I didn't really want to broadcast my absence from home too much all over the internet. So I basically went back to England for 8 weeks. Initially it was to attend my sister's wedding, but I did stay on for Christmas and New Year as well with my family. So it was really great to be back. It was a really nice break. I think I needed that sort of change just to recharge a little bit. Often when I go back over, this is my third visit back to England since I moved to Australia, and the previous 2 times it's been a bit of a hectic, mad rush because my husband and I have been sightseeing. The first time it was his first ever time in England, and we also went to Prague, and then the last time we went back we spent some time in England with my family, but we also travelled around Scandinavia and Iceland. So it was on the go all the time, whereas this trip I did do some things, but I was spending a lot of time just at home with my parents and seeing my sister and everything as well. So that was really great. As I said, I did a little bit of writing on this story while I was away, but I was completely out of my normal routine. So I'd set up a lot of social media to go live while I was away, but I really wasn't actively doing anything other than checking personal messages for those 2 months. So I've been back just about 2 weeks now. I'm about up to date with everything. It took me a good week to 10 days to really get on top of everything again, and I'm finally at this stage where I feel like I can move forward and start new stuff. So what are my plans? Social media wise, perhaps we'll start with that since I just mentioned it. I'm carrying on with all my usual sort of Twitter things. I'll be getting back into 2-Bit Tuesday, One Line Wednesday soon. I will also get back on my blog into some of the weekend blog posts about what books I'm reading. I'm continuing my vlogging. I really enjoyed it last year, so I'm really excited to continue doing that this year and talking to you about various things. My friend Alina and I have got a few dual vlog things planned, talking about genre. We'll probably start that around March, I think. And I'll be carrying on with my Ask an Author, Ask an Editor, my end of the month book reviews, any tags. I've got a note of about 5 or 6 tags there, I think, that I've seen while I've been away or just before I left, that I will film over the coming months to share with you. Work-wise, I just had my first editing job for the year in, which was awesome. I hadn't had any work while I was away, so it's great to get a bit of income again and get things moving. So I don't have any more jobs definitely coming in at the moment, but I've had a few inquiries, so hopefully I've got some more work coming in shortly. And I need to really work on trying to promote my editing services as well a bit more this year once I get my head around how I want to do that. Obviously I started my editing blog, my sort of dedicated editing blog last year, and I do special vlogs and blog posts for that, offering editing tips and free advice to authors, so do check that out. There's a link in the little spiel below. Moving on, you may see sometimes on my social media drawings pop up. I really enjoy sketching. I'm pretty much self-taught, I just do it for fun. I just recently completed a picture of Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, so do check out my blog, social media, you'll find it on there, on Instagram, Twitter and the like. I want to carry on working on my drawing. I'm bringing in a sort of blend. I used to just do pure graphite, but now I'm bringing in a blend of charcoal and graphite that I want to start really trying to improve on that blending in the next few drawings. I've got a few more I want to do, so I'll be showing more in the coming months. Craft-wise, I also want to keep working on my cross stitch. I have this giant cross stitch, which I haven't got it out today, but perhaps when I do another update I'll share it with you. I've been working on it for nearly 10 years, and it's based on a J.W. Waterhouse painting, my favourite artist. It's a heavy slog, and I mean, I'm not working on it every single day. I have little stints, and then I might not get to work on it for a while. So it is very much a work in progress, but I do really want to make some good progress on that this year, and hopefully maybe finish it eventually one day. I've also got a few small ones that I might do for Christmas presents and things like that. So I also want to take up paper cutting. It's something I've seen around, but I really noticed it on a TV programme in the UK while I was there. And I already have a knife and a cutting mat from when I was doing some scrapbooking, so I have all the tools. So I am going to give that a try. I've just ordered myself a beginner's book which includes some templates, but once I've done a few, I'd quite like to design my own images. So that's the goal. We'll see what happens. With all these things that I say I want to do, it's always time. I mean, I know I work from home, but even then you're not sort of sitting around twiddling your thumbs. I'm always doing something. Filming, the moment I'm filming these vlogs, you know, for example, and there's so much I'd love to fit into my day, and it doesn't always happen. But I am going to try really hard this year. And that brings me to the next 2 points, which are things that I promised I'd do more of last year and didn't, so this year I must, and that's music and languages. I play piano, I've been teaching myself a bit of guitar, I play flute, I sing, and I very rarely get a chance to practice. That's always the bottom thing on my to-do list, and I usually get to the end of the day and I've run out of time. So I do want to really try and make time for that this year, because I'm getting so rusty. And the same goes for my languages. I speak several languages. For those of you who know me will know that already. And it's just finding enough time to work on them. Now I'm not in Europe anymore. I don't get to nip across to France and practice for the weekend and things like that anymore. So I'm reliant on watching films and TV in foreign languages and reading and writing letters from my pen pals. So I do want to try and get a little bit more organised, do a lot more reading, fiction reading. I bought myself a few books while I was over in the UK in French, German, Danish, Czech, and I want to try and work through some of those, even if it's just a few pages a week on each one. And just to keep that practice up and keep them ticking over, otherwise you do forget them. And I really don't want to, because I do love my languages. Moving on, theatre, film, TV. I don't have any theatre booked at the moment for this year. We are coming into February, March is our major art scene here in Adelaide. We have the Fringe Festival, which is the second largest in the world, I think, after Edinburgh. And we have an arts festival as part of that as well, which is sort of the Fringe does the comedy, burlesque and that, and the arts festival is the slightly more highbrow opera and the like. I usually try and see something. I haven't got anything booked, but we'll see. The Fringe ones you can usually just get a cheaper ticket, rock up on the day and things like that, so I will try and see something. Otherwise, I usually try and get to the opera at least once or twice a year, and we'll see what else is on. I mean, I don't have a huge amount of disposable income these days now that I'm not working in an office anymore, and my income fluctuates with when editing work comes in. So I don't really have the ready cash to keep going to the theatre too much, but if there's something I want to see, then I'll try to see it. Film-wise, there's so much to look forward to this year. I just saw The Shape of Water, which was amazing. We've got Black Panther coming soon. Infinity War, of course, I'm so excited for Infinity War. You may all know I'm a complete MCU fangirl, so bit of a squee about the trailer every time it comes on. And there's a few other great films that look like they're going to be really good. Ready Player One, the trailer looks quite intriguing. So there's plenty that I'll see, and we have a really great cheap day. I'm a member at my local cinema, and they also have a great cheap day offers on Mondays and Tuesdays where it costs like $7 to see a film before 4 o'clock. And since I'm working from home, I can just go down during the day and see a few things, which makes it brilliant because it means I can see a bit more than I would if I was paying $20 a ticket. So there's that. Since I went away, Netflix added a whole load of new stuff that I want to watch. New seasons of shows I was watching. I've got to catch up on Marvel's The Punisher, so I'm working on that. I just caught up with Black Mirror the other day, watching the Star Trek Discovery, and I'll probably start The Punisher tonight actually, and continue on. I've got a few series to catch up with. So finally, I guess the only other thing to say, I have a few new obsessions for the year. So let me have a quick drink break and I'll tell you about those. Right, I'm back. It was actually quite a good thing that I had that little drink break because my camera battery was flashing red when I got round the other side there, so at least it didn't cut out in the middle of my speech. So, obsessions. I do have a couple of new ones for the year. Anyone who knows me, I do have a slightly obsessive personality, and I will completely fangirl over something and I'll be completely into it and to the obliteration of everything else pretty much. Until I get it out my system and move on to a different one. And I have two current ones going on that are from the last couple of weeks. The first is The Grinning Man. I went to see the musical in London just before I left. It's based on the novel The Man Who Laughs, L'Homme qui rit, by Victor Hugo. And I hadn't read the novel. I've read a huge amount of Victor Hugo's work, but not that one. So it was completely new to me, and I was just absolutely entranced by the story, the performances, the music was sublime. I mean, it was so emotive. I mean, I was just in tears, like cracking up one moment and streaming down my tears streamed down my face the next. Absolutely wonderful. But it's made me really interested, or obsessed, we'll say, with the story. So I managed to find the book on Project Gutenberg because to my surprise it's actually not that easy to get hold of, and the versions that are about look like mostly CreateSpace kind of ones, and you don't know who the translator is and that, so just like, well, I'll just get a Project Gutenberg one. I was really surprised there isn't an official like Penguin or Wordsworth or something edition, but there's not. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm a little bit behind on my book count at the moment, which I'll come back and tell you about in a second. So it is a 900 odd page novel, so I haven't started it yet because I just wanted to go through a few shorter ones, get myself back on track, and then I'll start it. I managed to find the 2012 film version on DVD on eBay. That arrived the other day and I watched that, which was brilliant. And on YouTube I found the 1971 TV version and the 1928 silent film version. So I'm looking forward to watching those. Oh, plus I also found a Russian musical version on YouTube, so I'm going to watch that too. So I've got all this going on with that one, and just there's something about the character of Grimpain. For those who Grimpain, he's called in the musical. In the book he's called Gwynplaine. I assume they wanted something a little bit more etymologically suitable for the show. As you'll see when I tell you that if you don't know the story, he's had his mouth sliced into a smile as a child. This is actually the story that inspired the Joker in Batman, if you didn't know that. So, and so he lives this life where he's working with the circus, but then he suddenly ends up wealthy and among the nobles. I don't want to say too much, I don't want to ruin the story if anyone's going to read it, but it's a big thing for me at the moment. It's very much on my mind. The other one, when I got back here in Australia, I finally got to the cinema. I'd only got to the cinema once in UK. I went with my sister to see The Greatest Showman, which I really loved. The music's very much in my head as well for that at the moment. But I didn't get to the new Star Wars. And I finally got to it when I got home last week. And it was awesome. I mean, I know there's been a bit of a mixed reception to it, but I loved it. And my new obsession from Star Wars is Kylo Ren. In the first film I enjoyed his character, but you know, that was about it. But suddenly in this film there's just something about him, and particularly his relationship with Rey. I do ship Reylo now. And there's just something about him that I really connect to and that I really love. And so I'm very much, he's on my mind a lot. I'm reading masses of Reylo fanfic. I just ordered myself some pop vinyl of Kylo Ren. There's two of his I've ordered. There's a really nice one of him in a TIE Fighter, but I really can't afford that because it's nearly $60. But I have got the two, just the single ones from the two films. The pop vinyls are my new thing. I didn't have any until December, November, December. I kind of resisted them. I always look at them and smile, and then I'm like, oh, if I start buying them, I'll never stop. And I didn't have the money for it. But my husband bought me a couple of the Loki ones here, you can see, for my birthday in December. And also I got a few of the little ones of Loki from my sister and my brother-in-law for Christmas. So I have got a little collection going. My sister also bought me the Doctor Strange one, which I don't have here yet because I'm still awaiting a bit of a shipment. I got so many new things in England that I've had to have a box set, so that's coming. And so yes, it does seem to be a bit of a thing, so I've got to be really careful because I don't want to get carried away because I simply haven't got money to spend on them. But I'm not going to obsessively buy all of them, but I will get certain ones that appeal to me. So that's Colour Ren anyway, so I'm very into him. And that also, I have to say, maybe what's disrupting my writing a little bit, because when I do hit a new obsession about something, it does take a week or two to get it out of my system enough that I can concentrate on my own creations again. I'm not constantly thinking about someone else's characters. So it may be that by next week my writing's all good to go again. What else can I tell you? That's about it, I think. I mean, it's been a bit of a shock because it was 6-7 degrees Celsius in London when I left, and coming back here, only a few days after I got back, we had a couple of days over 40 degrees. Today it's 32, I think, but we're heading for 42 again, both days at the weekend. So it is a bit of a shock, and it's all a bit, I mean, that's why you sort of find me in. I've got the lights on above here, but I haven't got the curtains open for any natural light today, even though it's mid-afternoon, because it's just too hot with the light streaming in, and hopefully you don't hear the aircon going too much on the video. But anyway, I'm back. Had a wonderful trip. My sister's wedding was gorgeous. We spent a bit of time up in Yorkshire doing some sightseeing, and just basically the rest of the time chilled out in Kent with my parents. So there's not much more to tell you today. I look forward to the coming months when I'm going to be sharing all the books I've been reading. And oh, books! Before I go, I should tell you about books. So I did complete my goal for 140 books for 2017. I've set my goal at 150 for this year. I'm at 8 so far, and I think Goodreads told me this morning I'm 1 behind schedule. But I have got a couple of quick ones to get through in the next few days. So after that I should be okay again, and then I'm going to read that Man Who Laughs, the Victor Hugo. So I will be back next week with my January book wrap-up. In the meantime, I've got some tags I'm going to start filming in the coming weeks and months as well. And I look forward to sharing just more news during the year, whether it's about my writing, whether it's sharing tips, or just chatting about the things we all love and being an epic fangirl, because I really am. Okay, I'll end there for now. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.